If you are interested in applying for a US or global opportunity, you're in the right place. This video assumes you have already created your Service Reef account. If your family hasn't already created a Service Reef account, then you need to do that now following the video linked above. If you have created a Service Reef account, this is going to walk you through how our Engage teams are formed and how to apply. You can see this in our Engage handbook as it talks about the process and the information for how we form our Engage teams. The most important thing to remember is that everyone will apply for a general application and you will submit your top 3 trip preferences. You are not guaranteed to get onto a trip that is in your top 3, though we make every effort to make that happen, especially for upperclassmen. If you are interested in going on a US or global trip, you should visit vcs.servicereef.com in order to sign up. Here, under Opportunities, you will be able to see a number of trips as well as the US and GL general application. Right now, I only have Kenya loaded in because I'm using this as an example, but in August when we launch for our Engage Chapel, you will be able to see all of the different Engage US and global trips that we will be taking. Some important information to note is the dates of the trip, where you will be going, and the cost of the trip. Each student must raise that cost in order to go on the trip. Here you will read a little bit about what the trip is like. Down below you will see the different deadlines for your cost. You will also see any requirements listed here. Here you need to have a passport and you need to have an e-visa, but there are no vaccinations required. This is really important that you understand the requirements for the trip before you sign up for the trip. If the trip requires a vaccination that you are not willing to get, please keep that in mind and do not apply for that specific trip. You can also read different responsibilities as to what to expect and what we are looking for students to be on this trip. Here you can see that it says registration closed, meaning I cannot sign up for this specific trip. It will say this for every single trip, every single opportunity on Service Reef, even when you can apply for the specific trip. The reason for this is because we do not have students sign up for a specific location. We have them sign up for the US and Global General application. Here you can see the US and Global General application. When I click on this, it says you must complete this application if you wish to be part of any US or global trip. So even if I really wanted to go to Kenya, this is where I sign up. You can see that the application will open 5 p.m. on the day of our Engage Chapel, which is where students will learn about the different options and what Engage is in general. Please read the terms and conditions before you submit the application. It is really important that you understand the financial obligation for any trip to which you are accepted. The EUS and EGL application has multiple fields for you to complete. You must complete them all in order to submit the application. You can see they are marked here with a star that denotes they're required. You can save this and come back to it. It is a pretty lengthy application, so we recommend starting it as soon as possible and then just make sure you submit it by the deadline posted. For our trip preferences, there will be a drop-down menu for which you can select your first choice, second choice, and third choice. Here is where you select what your top trip preferences are. Again, I would like to iterate the fact that you are not guaranteed your first, second, or third choice, though most students do receive one of their top 3 choices. The previous experience gives you an opportunity to share with our Engaged chaperones what your experience has been in the past and why you would like to go on an Engaged trip. To share with our Engaged chaperones what your experience has been in the past and why you would like to go on an Engaged trip. Your spiritual profile will give us an insight into your heart for missions and why you would like to go on these trips. We do require that all students be in good academic and behavioral standing with the school. If there are any issues, you should denote this here, or if you think there may be any concerns in the future. You should also list your extracurricular involvement and coach approval. It is very important that you pay attention to the dates of the trips that you are listing for your first, second, and third preferences. If you are part of the baseball team, softball team, or any volleyball team, then you have blackout dates for which you are not allowed to participate in an Engaged trip. Please see your coach for these dates and only apply to trips that are not in the blackout dates for your practices or tournaments. Your medical and health profile is extremely important. Please make sure you list any health concerns, allergies, and medications you are taking, as well as any dietary restrictions. Your references may be asked to provide insight as to what kind of student you are, both academically and behaviorally, as well as any personal relationship they may have with you. Once you are done, select Submit, and your application will be submitted. The application will close by the date listed, and you will no longer be able to submit after that date and time. So make sure you pay attention to that. In addition, once you select Submit, you are not able to make any changes to your application. Remember, there is no benefit to submitting your application earlier in the window as opposed to later. So just make sure that you get it done and make sure that you have all the information that you want and need in there, especially your trip preferences. We cannot go in and change your trip preferences once you have submitted them. So it is really important that you understand what your family is ready to commit to financially and time-wise, as well as if your parents are willing to let you go out of the country. So please make sure you are paying super close attention to every field on this application.